Have you ever noticed that certain women seem utterly untouched by the flow of years, as if they hold an inner glow that rises above their calendar age? We're delving into something far beyond mere heredity. There's a profound power at work in hidden realms, surpassing what we typically label as routine aging. This isn't about skincare regimens or cosmetic tweaks. We're encountering a phenomenon that Carl Jung would instantly identify. The condition of the spirit shapes how the physical form expresses itself. What you're about to uncover challenges much of what you've assumed regarding the link between inner vitality and outward looks. The true essence lies not in the actions these women take, but in the essence they harbor within their energetic field. A scarce spiritual alignment that serves as a shielding force against time's corrosive grip. By the end of this exploration, you'll grasp why some spirits shine brightly while others fade away, and how this ancient insight can reshape your own bond with the process of growing older. The enigma doesn't start in front of a mirror, but with the radiance emerging from deep within. When Jung discussed the psyche's impact on external features, he understood that awareness forges reality in ways we've largely overlooked in modern times. Some women bear an internal resonance that defies the standard rules of decay over time. Picture a woman gliding through a crowded room. She draws eyes, not through striving or enhancements, but via an ineffable aura that bends the surrounding light toward her. Her features narrate tales, yet stay fresh and lively. Her gaze discloses timeless insight, yet sparkles with childlike wonder. This embodies the archetype of luminous femininity, the woman whose essence keeps her eternally youthful. Jung outlined this occurrence via the path of individuation, the merging of aware and unaware elements that yields psychic wholeness. Women who follow this route often observe their outer form evolving in tandem with their inner growth. They embody what Jung termed the timeless facet of the feminine, the enduring core that surpasses biological decline. Within them dwells what Jung labeled the anima mundi, the world's soul that invisibly links all living entities. They've mastered attuning to that cosmic pulse. Their personal narrative aligns with something grander, beyond chronology. This affirms what mystics have long known. Awareness shapes time, and time in turn sculpts the vessel bearing that awareness. These women possess a shared gift. They convert hardship into insight without turning sour. While others weigh down under letdowns, they alchemize anguish into illumination. Consider a woman who's endured numerous bereavements, yet bears an unfathomable gentleness in her expression. She hasn't sidestepped existence, but has engaged in what Jung called active imagination, the skill of creatively and restoratively engaging with unconscious material. In doing so, she blocks inner poisons, those that would ordinarily hasten premature wear, from taking hold in her being. The ancient Greeks differentiated between Chronos and Kairos. Chronos represents the sequential mechanical progression to which most yield. Kairos, conversely, signifies sacred time, the perpetual instant where change becomes feasible. Women who appear inexplicably youthful dwell chiefly in Kairos. Chronos brushes them only as required, but never dictates their core. The start of this voyage lies in what Jung termed confronting the shadow, those aspects of ourselves we'd rather conceal. Many expend vast energy futilely suppressing these dim facets. This inevitably surfaces in facial lines, in bearing, and in the vibe they project. The luminous woman has reconciled with her shadow. She's woven it into her whole rather than waging war against it. From this weaving emerges what ancient alchemists dubbed the philosopher's stone, a realm of inner fulfillment that beams outward. When inner turmoil ceases its relentless drain on life force, that vitality surges forth for rebirth and refreshment. The face eases into its innate allure. The eyes clear up, unclouded by the haze of internal strife. The stance lifts with authentic poise, not pretense. Yet something even more profound unfolds here, tied straight to time's very nature. Jung realized that the psyche adheres to its own rhythmic laws. He termed this synchronicity, those meaningful alignments that hint at a layer beyond straightforward cause and effect. Women embodying this uncommon spiritual trait seem to exist partly beyond ordinary chronology. They've cultivated what Jung described as the observing ego, a conscious segment that can detach from daily turmoil while staying fully immersed. This mindset lets them witness their own aging process without merging into it. A counterintuitive safeguard forms precisely because they mindfully acknowledge the aging. It thereby slows. They age as active players, not as casualties. Linked to this is what Jung called the transcendent function, the link between aware and unaware realms that enables genuine metamorphosis. This psychological milestone generates a kind of temporal envelope around them, where typical decay rules bend uniquely. Yes, they do age, but at the pace of their souls unfolding, not the ruthless ticking of a clock. Perhaps you've crossed paths with women whose timeless aura prompts you to doubt their true years. They carry themselves with a grace that speaks of profound self-work. Their soul's scars have morphed into resilience, not depletion. Their laughter wells from deep strata. Their quietude holds serenity. Their essence stirs awe for concealed wonders. Science is now catching up to what Jung sensed decades prior. Studies in epigenetics reveal that feelings directly sway how genes activate. Prolonged tension hastens cellular breakdown. Inner calm and delight foster renewal. Even telomeres, those chromosome guardians and biological clocks of aging, respond keenly to our mental state. What Jung viewed as the collective unconscious grants these women entry to an endless well of rejuvenation. They tap into archetypal forces that have upheld the feminine for eons. This bond yields a sort of biological elegance. Cellular repair quickens. The form stays supple. Women who sustain a lively tie to the self, the archetype of wholeness and purpose, exhibit tangible variances. Their cortisol levels stay steady. Inflammatory signals remain even. Cellular mending systems operate at peak. The soul's tranquility safeguards the body's youth. This isn't whimsy, but an acknowledgement of the deep interplay between mind and flesh that Jung probed throughout his career. He saw that psyche and soma aren't distinct territories, but dual sides of unity, where shifts in one invariably ripple to the other. Jung also addressed the psyche's religious role, not tied to organized faith, but to the sense of the divine infusing daily life. Women who nurture this outlook regard their bodies as sanctuaries of awareness. This veneration shields them even at a level we'd now call quantum. The luminous woman has also grasped what Jung termed the art of conscious dying, releasing what no longer fits without clinging to worn-out habits. She recognizes that each life stage demands an inner passing and revival. And she navigates these shifts with poise, not pushback. While others burden themselves with emotional loads, she embraces deliberate release. She keeps only what nurtures her spirit's expansion. Everything else falls away before etching creases or dimness into her visage. This release extends to others' hopes and societal roles too. Jung labeled this the persona, the everyday facade we don. Over-identification with it traps one in stiff routines. The luminous woman dons her facades lightly, like garments suited to the weather. Within her psyche stirs what Jung called the autonomous complex of the eternal feminine, an inner framework that functions beyond deliberate intent, yet always advances loftier evolution. This inner dynamic guards her from stiffening, as women often lose their cyclic renewal and sink solely to linear progression. Via the transcendent function, she's discovered a mediating route, beyond the clashes of youth versus age, allure versus fade, purpose versus nullity. In her company, one senses this woman allies with time, not battles it. She flows with it rather than resists. Thus she crafts a field where others briefly feel time's burden lift. Jung would spot in her the archetype of the wise woman, not as a crone witch, but as a vital vessel of timeless insight. These women have deepened their channel to the collective unconscious, to the ever-renewing eternal feminine. The unconscious steadies them through dreams, flashes of knowing, and steady hunches. Thus, they stay attuned to their authentic growth trajectory and evade decay. The exceptional spiritual essence of these women boils down ultimately to a seamless fusion of Jung's core notions. They've attained what Jung termed the union of opposites, the harmony of inner masculine and feminine drives, the weaving of light and dark, the embrace of power and fragility. This internal union acts as psychological alchemy, transmuting all it encounters. Their faces become living mandalas, emblems of inner unity that Jung saw as the self's innate display. The balance in their traits doesn't signal genetic fortune, but a poise forged through deliberate inner labor. The glow in their eyes mirrors the melding of personality's facets into a cohesive whole. This trait shines brightest in how they handle adversity. Where others carve lasting grooves of resentment from pain, these women have fostered what Jung called a religious stance towards psychic content. They understand every wound holds the germ of mending. Every turmoil harbors the seed for heightened awareness. The luminous woman has realized what Jung termed differentiated feeling, the ability to discern between sentiments that propel progress and those that merely recycle outdated cycles of distress. She can immerse in depth without vanishing into it. She can grieve wholly without sinking. She can harbor authentic fury without poisoning her system. This emotional ripeness shields her from the instinctive inflammation throughout the body, which studies link straight to faster aging. This doesn't imply it dodges pain or pretends it's not there. On the contrary, it has cultivated the skill to hold the pull of contradictions, as Jung put it, to stay engaged with tough moments without rushing away or chasing instant fixes. In this way, it wards off the inner splintering that speeds up the aging clock. Her nervous system stays balanced even under stress and upholds what experts now term cardiac coherence, a condition where breathing, heart rate, and feelings sync up smoothly. This alignment brings deep impacts on hormones, immune defenses, and cell repair. The soul's tranquility becomes the body's remedy. Yet perhaps the most striking trait in these women is their bond with tomorrow. While others cling to youth or dread time's march, they have honed what Jung labeled forward thinking, the knack for spotting growth potential in every instant. They dwell in becoming, not in reminiscing. This mindset fosters a realm of openings. They draw in encounters and bonds that fuel their evolution, as if their sharp aim to expand summons the right conditions into their path. Jung might dub this synchronicity at play. Their features echo this welcome to what's ahead. Rather than stiff lines signaling surrender, they sport supple contours, faces open to endless nuance, gazes brimming with wonder at life's next unveilings. Jung's notion of the unus mundus, the oneness of all existence, shines through their essence. They have touched what alchemists termed the fusion of microcosm and macrocosm, a personal shift so perfectly tuned to universal laws that their own aging drifts in step with nature's timeless rhythms. The sacred essence they embody goes beyond just their self-connection. It extends to the unseen powers Jung named archetypes. They have mastered deliberate engagement with these timeless blueprints of human encounter. From them, they pull vitality and rebirth. In their company, you sense this archetypal link. They seem to hold more than one lifetime could account for, as though they tap into the insight of every woman who walked parallel trails before. This shared feminine depth lends a timeless command that owes nothing to years past. Their laughter rings with traces of the eternal feminine, which Jung saw as a core shaper of the mind. When they speak, it's not just their tone you catch, but something grander voicing itself via them, a channel for the divine feminine using their self as conduit. This openness demands what Jung called a supple ego, sturdy enough to anchor identity while yielding to the beyond personal, a poise that takes decades of inner labor. Once grasped, these women beam a lucidity that breaches private bounds. Thus emerges what Jung termed the conjunctio, the sacred wedlock of aware and unaware, male and female, fleeting and everlasting. From this inner merger sprouts what alchemists knew as the child of the philosophers, a refreshed self bearing both the depth of lived wisdom and the spark of fresh starts. The face stands as a vivid emblem of this inward accord. Women who harbor this uncommon sacred trait have grasped what Jung dubbed symbolic living, a way of being where every event layers deeper than the surface shows. Precisely. This outlook shields them from the soul's emptiness that ages so many, since meaninglessness drains their life force. For them, each day, each move becomes a quiet rite of refreshment. Their ties act as reflectors for further unfolding. Hurdles turn to gateways for richer insight. This alchemical stance toward events ensures nothing vanishes. Every tick adds to their unfolding. This purpose mirrors straight in the vigor of their bodily aura. Jung saw that the psyche holds a built-in healing drive, an innate pull toward wholeness that functions beyond deliberate intent. In women bearing this singular sacred trait, that drive runs wide awake and tended. A steady stream of cell renewal kicks in, working from core outward. So not just their look shifts, but how they dwell within their form. Wrapping up this dive, it's clear the wellspring of youth isn't some far-off legend. It's a mental realm open to anyone ready to tread the inner road of blending and self-realization, which Jung mapped out so keenly. Women who embody this unique sacred trait haven't unearthed a hidden brew or enchanted spell. They have mastered flowing with the psyche's deepest flows, partnering mindfully with the archetypal energies that carve human paths, and keeping a pulsing tie to being's higher plane. Their seeming youthfulness is really a mark of soul maturity. Their wholeness shows in a physical glow from within. They have hit what alchemists called the opus contra naturam, the work against nature, which ironically uncovers true essence. Around them, you feel what humans can evolve into when they handle with awareness the dynamics Jung probed. They stand for not just private triumphs, but group potential, showing how mind growth can echo in the flesh. This singular sacred trait is, at heart, open to everyone. It just calls for the grit to launch into the inner quest Jung named individuation, the readiness to face one's shadow and weave in one's light, the choice to exist mindfully, not on autopilot. The soul on this trail uncovers its timeless core, and that finding reshapes it all, right down to how we age. If this reflection rang true for you, or sparked an urge to launch your own mindful aging trek, I welcome you to subscribe to our channel. Drop in the comments what struck you deepest and which facets of this unique sacred trait you aim to cultivate in your own life. Your reflections deepen our joint grasp of how awareness shapes what's real and how the soul's state sways the body's show. Together, we reclaim what Jung illuminated,